Hi you guys, so most of you probably already know me. My name is Stephanie Jackson. I'm assuming a lot of you guys came from my IG to watch this video, so my IG is Stephanie K. Jackson. So I'm making this video today because I feel like it's time to share my story, my testimony, my truth. And as hard as that might be for me, because it's really hard, I have written posts, I've made videos before telling my whole story, and I've written it up and about to post it on Instagram, and I could never do it. I never felt like there was a right picture to post on Instagram or the right caption to explain what I'm going through, what I've been through, where I've been and where I'm at now. So I'm just going with the flow and I've prayed over this and I asked God to help me speak my truth and share my testimony and pray that it helps somebody out there. So this is what I'm doing. I want to start with, I know that everything I'm about to tell you guys, I signed up for. I did this to myself. I acknowledge I did this to myself. I'm not asking for a pity party. I've accepted full responsibility for everything that I've done with myself and to myself. So, let's start my journey. My name's Stephanie Jackson, and I have made the mistakes of not only getting breast implants, but getting illegal butt injections, butt shots as well. I didn't intend on sharing the butt part of my journey quite yet, but it's just on my heart to speak about it a little bit as well, because when this video comes out, I want my entire truth to be out there. I don't want to hide parts of me anymore. It has taken a lot of self-love, self-growth, self-empowerment to get to a point where I feel like I can open up and share this, because I know with sharing such raw pieces of me and very vulnerable pieces of me opens up people to not only support and love me, but people to hate and bash me. So I've had to mentally prepare myself for that. So if anyone has ever felt that I've lied in any way, it has nothing to do with about lying. It's protecting myself. I've had to protect myself from myself. I've become one of my own worst enemies, and that's why I'm so big on self-love now, because when I started this journey of changing these things about myself and my body, I was at a very low point in my life. I had just gotten out of an abusive 7-year relationship. The person went to prison for the things that they did to me. From being mentally, physically, emotionally abused, being cheated on. I was a very insecure person, extremely insecure person, young, trying to find my way in the world, looking up to the wrong people, looking up to the wrong things. And I let these things consume me. And I started feeling like I just was not good enough. There was a reason why I was being beat on, and there was a reason why I was being cheated on, because I was just not enough as a person. I wasn't pretty enough. There's so many things going through my head that was wrong with me. And I started making a list of all the things that were wrong with me. And I plan on changing these things with surgery and cosmetic surgery. So when I moved to Texas, my insecurities were at an all-time high, even though I never showed them or anything to anyone else. On the inside, extremely insecure. And I, like I said, was just looking up to women that like the Kardashians and Jenners, and I wanted to be like them so bad. So I moved to Texas and I started making a lot of money because I was a dancer and currently still am a dancer. And I'm surrounded by all these women that have already had cosmetic surgeries, that have big boobs and have hips and butts, and we're all working based on our appearance. The way we make money is based on our appearance. And coming from Missouri, this small town, and this girl that has a tiny little petite body and mom boobies that aren't voluptuous, okay? They were like flat, no volume in them. God, it made me that much more insecure. I was so insecure to the point sometimes I didn't want to go to work. Some days I just had zero self-confidence. I was so mean to myself. Like, if I had somebody else talk to me the way I spoke to myself, I would tell them like, yo, go F off. Or like, I would not be their friend. I wouldn't come around them. So I was talking to myself that way. I was saying the worst things to myself, picking myself apart and just being nasty to myself. Being an insecure person and having this opportunity to make all this money, in my opinion, was such a dangerous thing. When you're insecure and you don't really have money to change these things, I feel like you learn to live with it or cope with it, or maybe you learn to embrace it. But when you're insecure like I was and you have the money to change it, I mean, you change it. And that's what I started doing. And long story short, on the butt part, I started with getting butt injections first before anything else. And I will get more into that in a different video, because this one I want to be about what I'm going through right now and what I'm going to be changing. But after I got that done, I was like, boom, check that off the list. And the second thing that I got done was my breast. And I was extremely happy with them. I was extremely happy with both of the things that I'd done. But it was very short-lived. I started gaining weight really fast. Then there was something new to be insecure about, and I was going to get liposuction, and I had the money, so I was going to do it. Most of you know I started my health journey over 1.5 years ago, and through my health journey, I have learned to love myself and embrace myself in so many different ways, and ways that I never thought I was going to be able to do. All these things that I thought were going to make me so happy, and that I thought once I got these things done, I was going to be happy and just on top of the world. I've started to become insecure over these things that I paid for to get done to myself. I signed on the dotted line like, yes, I want this. Do it to me now. I have become more insecure over these things that I have now than I ever was being natural, little petite, average, normal human self. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, you look great, you're fine, this and that. And once you fully embrace yourself, those things don't matter to you anymore. These things don't make me happy. The things that make me happy are far from what society thinks is beautiful, materialistic things. Those things do not make me happy. Those things have never made me cry from joy. My children, raising them, that makes me happy. That makes me joyful and proud. Another reason why I have been so big on self-love is because I'm terrified that this world will make my children believe that they're not good enough the way that I felt. And I refuse to let them ever feel the way that I felt. That's why I drive self-love into them now and self-empowerment into them now. I just don't want to walk around in front of my daughter anymore. She sees me every day and has to think, this is what a woman's supposed to look like. This is, you know, I'm the first woman in her life, and she looks up to me and has to think that this unrealistic version of me is what she's supposed to look like when she gets older. And I'm just not okay with representing that anymore. And I'm not okay with letting that be her normal. I'm not okay with that. So on to my breast and what is going on with that. Actually a few months ago, out of nowhere, I started dealing with anxiety, which at the time I didn't know was anxiety. The very first time I had a panic attack, I was sitting at the table eating, and out of nowhere, I went really lightheaded. I almost passed out into the table, and I was sweating all over, and I couldn't stand. I was very lightheaded, and I had to call an ambulance, and they had to take me to the ER. I was hyperventilating. I couldn't breathe. That was my first panic attack, and I have no idea why it happened, but that was the first time, and I never shared that with anybody besides the people I speak to on a daily basis. They knew what was happening. After that first time, the panic attacks and anxiety kept happening. I was having irregular heartbeats, racing heartbeats. I would wake up in the middle of the night, wake up from my heart racing, going 130 beats per minute when I was dead asleep, feeling like I can't breathe, like I'm dying. I would have to take baths. I mean, to this day, I still have to take baths in the middle of the night, anywhere from like 3 to 5 in the morning. I'll wake up with my heart racing, and I have to take a hot bath. And my mom and my best friend, you know, they know this about me. They know I have to take baths all the time to calm myself down and calm my heart down, because it's in fight mode for no reason. The panic attacks have been like the scariest thing I've had to deal with, and that's been my symptoms from these things that I've done to myself. That's only what I can say I've been through. I've heard of plenty of other symptoms that come from breast implant illness and the illegal injections. And I want to speak up because there is not enough people. I know there's other people that have gone through what I've gone through. I personally know people that have gotten injections. I personally know people that feel the same way about their breast, but nobody wants to speak up about it because of the same reason I didn't. Nobody wants to be judged. Nobody wants people talking about them, judging them, you know, bashing them online. Nobody wants to go through that, but I'm at a place in my life where I'm mentally strong enough to handle whatever comes with this. So after I've been having these anxiety attacks and panic attacks, I went through a period of like being depressed. I couldn't exercise for like a few weeks. I just felt like I was dying, and I would cry to my friend all the time, like, why don't I feel normal? Why is this feeling always in my chest? I don't understand what's going on. Something wrong with my heart. I feel like I have a heart problem. And it was about a month or two after that, at work, I had noticed this weird little lump feeling on my breast. It was very tiny. You could barely feel it. And I asked a waitress, which hopefully she watches this video and can vouch for me. I asked her to feel my breast because I was like, do you feel this lump on my breast? It's small. Do you feel it? Is it just a ripple from my implant? And she didn't feel it, but I will never forget. I remember that day when I talked to her about it. And I just paid it no mind after that. She didn't feel it. I thought it was all in my head because I just feel like I'm over dramatic. So a few months later, once my kids are here with me, I don't remember if I was putting a shirt on or something, but I went like this, and that bump that was really little before was like huge now, and I could feel, I mean, just doing this, I can feel that it's huge. And I started freaking out. I started bawling my eyes out, crying. I'm like, I have breast cancer. I called my mom. I was hyperventilating, couldn't breathe. I went to the ER, got an ultrasound done on my boob. They said it was ruptured, but according to my plastic surgeon, ultrasounds are not accurate. So honestly, save your money. Don't even do it, because they won't even acknowledge it. They won't even look at it. So just to save you guys some money out there that might be dealing with it, the best option for you is to get an MRI. But I'm self-pay and I can't afford an MRI right now. So that is your best option though. So I went to my surgeon following a couple of days, and they examined me, and the first thing they said was CAPSULAR CONTRACTURE. A capsular contracture is everybody that gets an implant, breast implants, your body's natural defense against this foreign object is to wrap itself around the implant, and it forms the skin around it, a barrier, and it's scar tissue to protect your body from this foreign object. So everybody gets that. Everybody does. It's normal. So what's not normal or considered normal is your body rejecting the implants. I have only had my implants for 2 years, and it's already rejecting it from my body. So when I say it's rejecting it from my body, the implant is sitting here like this, and the skin is over it, and it's tightening around it. So it's building more scar tissue. It's getting thicker, and it's squeezing the implant. So when it's squeezing this implant, my entire, I don't know if you guys can see, if you can see the lump right here. It's making my boob firm. It hurts. It's causing me discomfort. My boob does not look anything like my other boob that's completely normal. It's swollen, and it's sitting up high, and it's very uncomfortable, and it's making me very insecure, especially with me still having to work the way I do. And my options are to either exchange the implant, 1. 2, I can just completely remove both my implants, or I could always downgrade and make my implants smaller, whatever I want to do. The reason I'm choosing to explant my implants is because the fact that my body is already rejecting these implants after 2 years, and I'm getting all of these symptoms from these implants, that's telling me that my body does not want this in. It doesn't want it in my body. And I can only imagine if this is doing this to my breast, what must be going down in my butt, what's going on down there. So I'm choosing to get them removed because I don't think what society thinks is beautiful is worth more than my health or me being alive. And it's not more important than me being a role model to my daughter. So, to both my children, but mainly my daughter. So, I just want to share my story with you guys, because if you're feeling like you feel like you're crazy, like could this really be from my implants? It very well could be. I live an extremely healthy lifestyle. Most of you know I work out almost every single day. I eat great healthy things. I empower my mind every single day, and there's no reason why I should be feeling sick the way I do. And another symptom before I forget, I've noticed when I try to take deep breaths, a lot of the time I cannot get to that really deep inhale that like when you yawn and you get a really good inhale, I cannot get an inhale like that. And I know it's because of these implants sitting on my chest. So this is my story about my breast implant illness, and I highly encourage any and everyone that has breast implants or is considering getting implants to research it, because I was not informed the way I would have liked to have been informed about these things happening. From what I understood, that I was not going to have to deal with this for another 20 years, 15, 20 years. I had no idea that these complications could come from it, more than likely come from it. Honestly, I don't think if it'll happen, it's more like when it will happen. And they're just not a lifetime thing anyways. You will have to get them cut out, exchanged. I mean, I just wish I would have loved myself enough not to have even done this to myself, because now I'm going to have scars, and who knows what my boobs are going to look like after I get these taken out. And all this so that I could be more liked or get more likes on Instagram. It's just not worth it to me. So I'm really glad that I didn't break down, because I've been crying all day about just everything. I love you guys, and I'm glad that I can be transparent with you guys and share my story, and I'm glad I'm in a place in my life where I can be brave enough to do this. So if you guys have any questions, I intend on making more videos, more in-depth videos about maybe each area of my life and what I was going through and why I did what I did. So if you guys have any questions about any of the things that I've done, please feel free to ask me. If anyone has been impacted by me in any way to love themselves more, maybe I reached out or you reached out to me and I turned you away from getting your butt done, or I encouraged you to embrace your natural self. If you feel comfortable sharing that, it would mean the world to me, because it's scary for people to maybe that don't know me just assume things about me, and I know where my heart is, but other people don't. So if you guys feel comfortable sharing anything that you've ever learned or anything from me, please feel free to share. Make sure you guys like and share this and maybe help somebody else that needs to hear this out, because this is a serious thing. This is your life. So I love you guys, and let's all say fuck society standards and just start loving ourselves.